So, what's it really like to run a race at Walt Disney World? I'm sharing everything in today's vlog. The good, the bad, the ugly, the controversial opinions, the tips and tricks. It's gonna have it all. So buckle in because we're gonna chat all things Run Disney.
1, 2, 3, 4. We can never go back this road. We can never go back that way. I see you standing in the corner like it's okay. Don't you know that you move with your body? Don't you know that you move with your body? We can never go back this road. We can never go back that way. I see you standing in the corner.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Erica and I make all kinds of vlogs here on my YouTube channel, from travel vlogs to home vlogs to Disney vlogs. I share all of my life's adventures, so I would love it if you subscribe to come join our little community over here. But I am very excited about today's video because we are chatting all things Run Disney. I just ran my first ever Run Disney race and it was such an amazing jam-packed experience, and I thought it would be super helpful to make this video for you guys today. If one, you are someone who is maybe thinking about running a race, but you just don't really know everything that entails with a Run Disney race, or maybe two, you just signed up for your first race and you're like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? This vlog is going to be for you. So I asked you guys over on Instagram stories, what are any and all questions you have about Run Disney? And you guys sent me in a ton of questions, so I'm gonna answer them all in today's vlog, and I went ahead and broke it down into categories. So we're first gonna talk Run Disney 101. What the heck is Run Disney? What are the races like? How to register and all of that. So we're gonna start there. Then we're gonna talk about training, and then we're going to talk the entire race day experience from like start to finish, and then I'm going to end on tips and tricks to make sure that you have the most amazing race ever. So if you're excited about today's video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up as always, and of course don't forget to subscribe because we have a ton of awesome videos coming your way here on my YouTube channel. So again, don't forget to subscribe, but let's go ahead and dive into all things Run Disney. Let's start with Run Disney 101. So if you're like, okay, Erica, you keep talking about Run Disney. Are you talking about just like literally running at Disney? No, I'm talking about Run Disney, basically the company within the Walt Disney World company that puts on all these marathon weekend races. So I'm going to talk just about Disney World. They also have races at Disneyland, but I'm more familiar with the Disney World races. So Run Disney has 4 race weekends a year. First is Marathon Weekend in January. Second is Princess Weekend in February. Third is the Springtime Surprise, which is in the spring. And then fourth is Wine and Dine, which is in the fall. Now, within these 4 weekend races, there are different races you can run. So there's options to run a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, or a full marathon. But the full marathon is only during Marathon Weekend in January. So let's just talk, for example, I went during the Princess Half Marathon Weekend. So the options for races were a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, or I'm like 90% sure they had a yoga class too. So those were the 4 events going on during the Princess Half Marathon Weekend. So each weekend basically has different kind of races, different events that you could do, and they're all a little bit different. Like again, the Marathon Weekend will have that full marathon that you could run. Now I do just want to clarify that you don't have to run all of the races that are happening with whatever race weekend that you're at. So like for example, during the Princess Weekend, I don't have to run the 5, the 10, and the half. I could if I want to, but you have to purchase each race individually. So we just chose to run the 10K, but again, I do know people that do they like to do the 5, the 10, and sometimes the half, and then you can also earn different medals for the challenges. So that's what the challenges are called. Like if you are going to stack basically the races and do multiple races, you could also win additional medals for doing the challenges. And actually the ultimate challenge you can do during a Run Disney event is the Dopey Challenge, and this happens during Marathon Weekend in January. And the Dopey Challenge is that you run a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and a full marathon in the entire weekend. So if you run all of those races, you basically complete the Dopey Challenge and you get to earn a separate medal from that. So that is absolutely crazy. Will I do that one day? I have no idea, but like literally props to the people that do that because that is absolutely wild. But yeah, so basically Run Disney, there's 4 events through the year and there are multiple races within each of those events that you can do. So now that we talked about Run Disney and the race weekends and the types of races you can run, now it's time to talk about registering for a race. Now, unfortunately, guys, I wish I had better news to share with you about registering for a race, but unfortunately, it is just like an extremely difficult experience to try and actually register for a race because these races are so freaking popular. Like, remember what it was like to try and get Taylor Swift Eras Tour tickets? It's basically the same kind of deal with runDisney. So as soon as you kind of pick a race that you're interested in and you see when registration opens, I'm telling you, you need to be like on your computer ready to book it as soon as registration opens, and like just, you know, pray to God, cross your fingers that you actually get a ticket once registration opens, because these tickets literally sell out within minutes. Like, it is absolutely crazy. So when we were registering for our race, my friend Taylor, she was kind of the one in charge of getting us tickets, because at the time I was like really into wedding planning. So she's like, okay, I'm going to try and register us. And the first time around, she was only able to get herself in. There was 3 of us trying to run this race. She was only able to get herself in, and then it sold out. But I want you to know that when it says like it sells out, it's not exactly sold out. So it's like, it's very weird. It's a weird process, because it's like they open up for tickets and then they sell like that, and then it says sold out. And then what you have to do is you actually have to follow this Twitter account called runDisney Alerts. And whenever they tweet that like, okay, it's back open, like basically they'll just like randomly open up the race again, and then you can try and get tickets again. So it was literally months of us trying to get me and Ellie tickets, because Taylor was able to get hers right when it opened, but then we also had to try and get our own. And the next time around, Taylor was able to get Ellie tickets, but then not me. So then we were still waiting for me to get tickets. And honestly, like I said, it was like a months long process. And I was literally walking down the street one day and I got a notification that the race was back opened, and I think this was in November. Yes, this was in November, and the race was in February. So I just like stopped everything. I literally stopped walking in my tracks. I clicked register now. I filled it out like a crazy person. I was like, I hope I'm putting in my correct information, put my credit card in, and hit like register. And I got in. But I'm telling you, it was like within those 5 minutes of seeing that tweet, it was closed again. So I want you to know that like once registration opens, definitely of course try to get in. But if you don't get in the first time around, do not lose hope, because they're going to keep opening up the race every so often leading up to the race. I would just recommend to follow that Twitter account, and as soon as you see the notification that the race is back or the registration is back open, drop everything and go sign up. That would be just the best advice I could give. I don't really know if there's any other tips and tricks to like hacking that system. If anyone does have any tips and tricks to registering for a Disney race, please drop it in the comments, so that way we can share that information with each other and, you know, hopefully not have to go through such a stressful process. But I'll say this, I was never at one point like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get into this race. It was more just like, I have to be like on top of it as soon as I see that notification. So I of course made sure to, 1, you know, follow this Twitter account, and 2, to actually set up the notifications to go to my phone. And as soon as I was logged in to my runDisney account, I was ready to go, signed up, and did everything. So it's unfortunately the process that it is, but like, again, don't lose hope. You will eventually get in. You just have to be on top of it, just because it's such a popular event. So yeah, that's my best tips and tricks to registering for the race, and also just like how that whole process was. Okay, so now you have registered for your runDisney race, and it's time to actually start training. So I will say that runDisney has a whole like page on their website about training for a race, and it's very thorough and well thought out, and I'm pretty sure it was all developed by like this Olympic runner. So I highly recommend definitely checking that out if you want to like really have a structured plan. But I also want to share just kind of like my experience and kind of what I did to train. So again, if you want like a thorough, like laid out plan, I definitely recommend checking out the runDisney website. But again, I'm also just going to talk about my experience as well. So first, I want to give a little bit backstory about myself. I have never considered myself a long distance runner, but I do consider myself an athletic person. So growing up, I played sports like basketball, volleyball, and softball, but that was all more like kind of short sprint, like, you know, running, nothing that was long distance. I didn't play soccer or obviously like run track or field or cross country. So I did know that this was going to be a really different challenge for me. This was going to be a different way I was going to move and exercise my body than I've ever done before. So I really wanted to take my training very seriously. So I started training for our race in the fall, and again, our race was in February. So I started by just running outside, although I knew that that was not going to be sustainable because I live in Michigan and it was going to be very hard to continue running outside in the winter, in the ice, in the cold, in the snow. So I did make a small investment in a treadmill. I just found one off Facebook Marketplace. It was about $200, so I bought that. We brought it inside the house, and honestly, I love running on my treadmill. I have it set up in the basement. I have my TV so I can watch my shows or I listen to music, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just like I can really get in the zone on the treadmill. So my goal was to be able to run at least 3 miles or 3 consecutive miles without stopping. That was like my first goal. So basically running a 5K, half of what I was going to do in the 10K. And my thought was, okay, if I can at least run 3 miles consecutively, then I think I could totally do this race because I could run 3, walk 3. So kind of do a little bit half and half. So I started there, and that took some time, and I would run like every other day. I didn't want to run every day because it was just exhausting, and in a way, I kind of have to be in the mood to run. So if I'm running every day, I was just going to be exhausted. So I would do a little bit of running and then maybe do like weights one day to try and strengthen my legs as well. So that was sort of my goal. And then once I slowly started to build up my endurance, and I was like, okay, I can like lightly jog 3 miles, then I would try and go for 4 miles. Or then I would try and do 5, but if I were to do 5, I would do like a run-walk situation. So maybe I'd run the first 2 miles, walk a couple laps, and then run again. And it was only about 2 or 3 times I did a full 10K. And even when I did that at home on the treadmill, I did not run the entire time. Like I either started walking and then ran a little bit, and then I stopped. And I ran a little bit more, and then I stopped. And I just kind of like was really just trying to understand my body, really try to like understand what felt good for me. So I would do a little bit of run, a little bit of walk. But again, I would never like do a full 10K running the entire time. Like I would always balance it out with running and walking. And I do want to say that is totally what people do during these races. Like there are the really, really extreme athletes that run the entire time. But for the most part, a lot of people run and walk the race. So that was my goal, was to be able to run a little bit and walk a little bit. So again, my starting goal was to run 3 consecutive miles, which I think is a good one to hit if you're trying to do the 10K. And then I would just kind of build up from there. Like maybe one day I was feeling really good. I hit the 3 mile mark and I was like, I could go another mile. I could go. So I would try and hit 4, and then I would walk. So it was still very much a run-walk situation. But again, my main goal was to run 3 consecutive miles. And of course, I trained like every other day. And just the last thing I want to say about training for this race was that it really made me realize how powerful and amazing our bodies are, because I'll be honest, when I signed up for the 10K, knowing that it was 6.2 miles, like honestly, in my mind, it felt like 20 miles. Like I was like, am I really going to be able to do this? Like, am I going to be able to run this race? And the more I trained, the more I really started to understand my body, and I was feeling better and better each time I would run. And like, once I hit that 3 miles and I was like, oh my God, I just ran 3 consecutive miles. And then I was like, the next day I was like, oh my gosh, I just ran 4 consecutive miles. Like I basically just did things I really didn't think were possible. Like again, when I signed up for the 10K, it felt like I was signing up for a full marathon, and it was very intimidating. But the more I trained, the more I really understood my body and was so proud of it. And like, just goes to show, like once you put your mind to something and you train for it, like anything is possible. So next I want to talk to you guys about the runDisney Expo. So the expo goes on during the race weekend, and you need to visit at least one day before your race to pick up your race bib. So our race was Saturday morning, so we went to the expo on Friday night. And the Disney World Expo is at the ESPN Wide World of Sports on Walt Disney World property. And they will have buses that can take you from your Disney resort to the expo, so you don't have to worry about transportation. So again, we went there Friday night, and this experience was way cooler than I was anticipating, because in my mind I was just kind of, I was picturing, some fun like entertainment or maybe like some merchandise and stuff, and then just pick up your race bib and leave. But honestly, you could spend probably a good portion of your day at the expo. They had food booths, they had vendors, they had merchandise. There was just so much going on, and it was a really, really cool experience. We were there for maybe like an hour and a half. Again, we did have to pick up our race bibs, and then You do get a shirt when you sign up for your race. So this was our shirt, so you pick that up there as well. And then you got to check out the vendors and also the exclusive merchandise for the Run Disney event. And I do want to say, if you're a very big Disney merchandise person, I recommend going to the expo as soon as it opens, because I know this limited edition merch does sell out very quickly. Now, when we were there Friday, I would say they still had a lot of their merch, but I'm sure there were some things that we didn't see because they were already sold out. But again, like it's a very cool experience. You can definitely have dinner there. They had drinks, music, like it was a whole vibe. So I really enjoyed the expo. But again, the most important thing to know is you do need to visit the expo at least a day before your race, so that way you can pick up your bib. Now we're going to talk about our entire race day experience, and I just realized I have not mentioned this yet, which is crazy, but guys, I did vlog our whole Run Disney race, so if you do want to see like a POV of that entire experience, definitely check out that vlog after you finish this one. But I'm basically just right now going to talk you through the whole experience. So like I said, our race was Saturday morning. So during the Princess weekend, the 5K was on Friday, the 10K was Saturday, and then the half marathon was on Sunday. So we were preparing for our race on Saturday morning. And when I say morning, I'm saying like the butt crack of dawn. These races are extremely early in the morning because you actually get to run through the parks before they open to the general public that day. So we need to talk about sleep schedule, waking up time, and all of that. So our race started at 5 a.m., but it did say that you needed to be at the race by 4 a.m., so at least an hour early. So the $1 million question was, what time do we need to get up? What time do we need to get on the bus? And we looked up a lot of stuff online. We talked to a lot of people while we were at the parks and at Disney World that weekend. And basically what we learned is that we need to be on the bus at 3 a.m. By the way, we were staying at All-Star Sports Resort. So when you are staying on Disney World property, they will have buses that will take you to your race. So with all that being said, we needed to wake up at 2:30 in the morning, which is basically the middle of the night, to get on the bus at 3, to get to our race, which was starting in Epcot around 4, to then be able to run at 5 a.m. And I have lots of opinions about this whole schedule, but we wanted to play it safe. This was our first time doing this race, so we're like, okay, we want to make sure we are there early, so we're going to get up at 2:30 in the morning to get on the bus at 3 and get to the race. So that was our plan. Now, the night before, the morning before, Friday morning, we did wake up early. We're like, let's get up early Friday morning. So we got up around 6 a.m. We rope dropped Animal Kingdom. And the reason why we wanted to get up early Friday morning was to hopefully make sure we were a little bit more sleepy Friday night, so that way we could go to bed early. So we did go to bed around 8:30. We got showered, got in our jammies, put on a little Disney movie, and just tried to go to bed as early as possible. Now, I will say, for me, what I did to get ready to go to sleep and try and catch some sleep is I did have a good patch melatonin sleep patch that I put on. Now, I'm not saying this is for everybody. I've used these patches a lot before, and they do help me. They don't like knock me out by any means, but they kind of help me calm down, because I can have a very anxious mind, and especially a night before a new experience, I know my mind would be racing, and these patches just kind of help me calm down. So I took my shower Friday night, and I got in my jammies, got into bed, I put the patch on, and as I kind of was really starting to like really drift to sleep, I took it off. So that's what's nice about these patches, is like as soon as you take it off, like it's gonna start to wear off, whereas like if you were to take like a melatonin pill or something, like you can't take that off, honestly, obviously. So I put that patch on, and I think that really helped me, like, it doesn't like knock me out, but it does just help kind of relax me and helps me go to sleep. And I will say, I had a pretty good night's sleep the night before. I know Taylor and Ellie were like a little bit more restless when they woke up in the morning. They were like, oh, like we were tossing and turning all night. So maybe try out, again, they're the good patch, wearable wellness patches. I really, really do enjoy using those. Maybe try those out at home, see how you feel in them. Again, I would not put it on all night. I just kind of put it on for like an hour, a half hour to an hour, just to kind of help get me in like the sleepy time mood and just kind of help calm me down and relax me. But I really do think that was very helpful and very like vital for helping me get some sleep before waking up at 2:30 in the morning. So we wake up at 2:30, we get dressed, we get ready. That took us about a half hour. So then at 3 o'clock, we went to the front of our resort, hopped on the bus, which by the way, I thought this was very interesting. They're not Disney buses that are taking you to your race. It's like a third-party bus system that runDisney hires. So you're not getting on like a Mickey Disney bus that you would take to the parks. It's like a very nice charter bus, which I really did appreciate. But I thought it was interesting that runDisney like hires third-party buses to take us to our races, which our race started in Epcot, so we're literally on Disney World property. So I did think that was very interesting. And when we were trying to figure out what time we needed to leave for the race, some people were telling us that to make sure to get on the bus early because sometimes the buses get lost. And I'm like, the buses get lost, but it must be because they hired that third party like buses. But it's like, how are these people getting lost? Like literally their only job is to take the people from the resort to the start of the race, which is in Epcot. Like it shouldn't be that complicated, but thankfully for our instance, our bus did not get lost. They took us right to Epcot. So that was all smooth process. And we arrived at Epcot around like 3:45, I would say, maybe 3:30, 3:45. And as soon as we arrived, we were like, okay, bathroom break. Like, let's take a bathroom break. So we went to the bathrooms right outside Epcot. And then once we went to the bathroom, we had to walk into the Epcot parking lot. So the race starts in the parking lot and it's all blocked off. And you walk in and it's like a whole production. There's a stage, there's music, there's thousands of people. Like it was insane. Like what it takes, the scale of these races is absolutely crazy. So then around 4 o'clock, it was time to get into our corrals. So what runDisney does is they section off people based off of their times, their run mile time. So when you register for a race, you do need to put in your average mile time. So the corrals are sectioned off by letters. So you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And the people in the front of the alphabet, they're going to have like a really fast run time. People in the middle are going to have like a middle, and then people at the end are going to have a slower run time. So when we registered for our race, I think we put in like 11 to 12 minute mile was our average, just because we were going to say that we were like, 6-minute milers because, well, first of all, we're not. And we're like, those corrals are dedicated to the people who are, kind of there to like run to win the race. Like they want to be first place. They actually like take this very seriously. They're very serious runners. So we had put in that we were like 11 to 12 minute miles. And for some reason, Taylor and Ellie got in corral E and I was in corral F. So when we were like, oh crap, we're not in the same corral, because they literally like section you off with like ropes and stuff. So I was like, okay, what are we gonna do? So we went and talked to a cast member and they said that Taylor and Ellie could come in my corral. I could not go in theirs because they were a step up, but they could come down to mine. So that's just what we ended up doing. So they only went from corral E to corral F. So it wasn't like a huge gap, but you basically just wait. You wait in these big corrals in the parking lot. And I mean, it's not boring. They have like TVs going and there's presenters and they're like entertaining you as you wait. But we got in our corral around 4 o'clock and we just had to wait for our turn. So they start with corral A and then those people get to run, and then they like, give some time so that they can get the next group of people. So it's not like thousands of people running at once. So again, we were in corral F, so we were really in the far back. So by the time we probably had to wait, I think by the time it was our turn to run, it was 5:40. So we had to wait a really long time before it was finally our time to actually run the race. Now, I will say it did not feel like we had to wait that long in the moment, just because, there was so much going on and you were just like so excited to race, and it was just a very stimulating experience. So it went by fast, but also slow at the same time. The worst part for us was it was absolutely freezing that morning. It was 46 degrees. And we had on just like our running shorts, like a long sleeve athletic shirt, so something kind of thin. And we were just kind of standing there huddled up, just being like, okay, like let us run. We want to get our body temperatures up. And we kept getting closer and closer to the start line. And then finally it was our time to run. And we were like, yes, let's go. And what was so cool is we just got lucky enough where they kind of cut us off. they cut off half of our group and they put the start line right in front of us. So we got to be like literally front row of the race, and then they counted us down. The fireworks went off, and then boom, it was our time to race. And I was like, yes, let's go, because I was cold. And also, we had to pee so bad. Remember I told you we did a bathroom break right when we got there? Well, that was about at, like I said, 3:30, 3:45. And we didn't start running until 5:45. So we had to pee so freaking bad. But we were like, okay, let's get a couple miles in, and then once we see a porta potty or a bathroom, we'll go to the bathroom. So again, we started our race in the Epcot parking lot. So for us, for our race, and again, each race route is different, but for our race, we started in the Epcot parking lot, and we first started running on the highway. So we were running on the highway, but what is so cool about a Run Disney race is they have characters along the race, they have music, they have DJs, so like you are being constantly entertained. They even had movies playing, like literally they would have like a projector set up and they were playing Snow White. So you are never bored when you run a Run Disney race. I didn't bring headphones or anything because I just wanted to be fully in the moment, and I'm so glad I did that. So we start the race, we're running, we're just so excited to, again, get our body temperatures up, but we really have to pee. So we run about, I'd say like a little bit over a mile, and then we saw our first porta potty, and we're like, okay, like let's just pee, let's just stop. There wasn't a huge line for this porta potty, so we're like, let's just stop and pee. And we peed, and we were like, oh my God, we're a new woman. Like we felt on top of the world at that moment, and we were like, we can do anything. So we, like, I swear, like our energy went up like a whole nother notch after we went to the bathroom, and we just kept running. And again, for our race, it first started on the highway. And so we started on the highway. We saw so many characters. I saw so many princesses because it was the princess weekend. We saw Elsa, Anna, Princess Tiana. And yeah, that was like the first part of the race. And then we had to have like looped back around, because then we were coming back towards Epcot, and we ran into Epcot and kind of like half of World Showcase. We were by like Canada, and then we exited Epcot and then ran around the boardwalk. And at this moment, we took a pause to stop and meet the Beast. So again, there are characters all along the way, but you have to stop to get in line to take a picture with them, which I think is so nice because it kind of gives you like a little bit of a rest, a little bit of a break. So we were about halfway in at this point, and we saw the Beast, and we're like, I don't know, we were like, let's stop and meet the Beast. So we stopped and waited in his line for about probably like 20 minutes, but it was super fun. We were making TikToks and stuff and just chatting, and then we took a picture with the Beast, and then we continued running. And at this point, because it was so early in the morning, you're running in the dark, but at this point, the sun was starting to rise over the boardwalk, and it was the most beautiful sunrise I've ever seen in my life. And it was like in that moment where I was like, oh my God, pinch me. I can't believe I'm doing this. It was so freaking beautiful, and just like honestly the most magical moment. And now that we're at about the halfway point during the race, I do want to touch on how I was actually feeling, how my endurance was doing, and what it was really actually like to run in the race. So first of all, I was feeling amazing. I don't know if I was just on a runner's high or like what, but I felt so good. I felt like I could actually run this entire 10K race, and I was almost like I was having an out-of-body experience, because I was just feeling so good in the moment, which is awesome. Like I had not felt that good running at all, and I think it was just the excitement and again like that kind of runner's high. So I was feeling so good. Now, what was it actually like to run? It was very different compared to running at home or outside, because you are running with thousands and thousands of other awesome people, which is amazing, and everyone is going at their own pace, which you need to do. Go at what you feel is your own pace, what you feel comfortable doing. But it did cause for a lot of kind of weaving and single file and all of this. And especially when you were running in the park, the rows got a lot narrower, so it was a lot of like trying to just kind of figure out how to run around people, but also, you know, keep a safe distance. And me, Taylor, and Ellie, there was just three of us, and we were, you know, trying to run together as much as possible, but there was a lot of moments where we'd be like, okay, single file, it's kind of what we'd say, and whoever was kind of in the front would start and lead, and we would kind of like weave and then come back together. And so that was a little interesting. I think I was definitely going at a slower pace because of that, because there's a lot of people who are at all different levels. There's some people who are walking this entire thing, which is amazing, because I think anyone at any skill level can do this race, and I love that about Run Disney. But it also made for an interesting running experience because of like how you're gonna like kind of navigate around all of your friends that you're running alongside. So we definitely figured out kind of our pattern. So again, we would be running together, and when we were like, okay, we're ready to like kind of pass somebody, we'd be like, all right, single, and like either Taylor or Ellie and I would lead, and then we would again kind of pass some people and then group back together. And again, we were trying to do this, of course, as safely as possible. We weren't trying to like cut people off or anything, but it was a little bit of like kind of a give and take. Like sometimes you were just going to be stuck behind some people who were a little bit slower than you, and you just kind of, lightly jog behind them until you had a good opening to safely go around them. So it was a little interesting. And again, especially when we were in the park, like when we were in Epcot and the streets got a lot narrower, then it got a little bit more challenging. But I think also a reason that we not struggled with that, but found it a little bit of a challenge was because we were so far back in the corrals that we were with people who, again, were walking the race. And that is not to say that there's anything wrong with that. If that's your pace, do it. Like, you can still participate in these Run Disney events, but I think we found that we were maybe a little bit faster than the corral we were put in. So I'll touch more on like that and the tips and tricks, but that was kind of our experience. It was a lot of little navigating and single file and then grouping back together. Then after we ran around the boardwalk, we went back into Epcot again. And at this point, the sun, I'm telling you guys, the sunrise was so magical. And we were running through World Showcase, and I was just like, I just couldn't get enough. I was like, I don't want this to be over yet, but I knew we were getting close to the end because they do have mile markers, which is awesome. We were on mile 4, then 5, then 6. And all of a sudden, we're coming back into the Epcot parking lot, and it was like I blinked or blacked out, and all of a sudden, I saw the finish line, and I was like, oh my God, I'm about to finish the race. And you cross the finish line, they have music bumping, and as soon as you cross, you're immediately given a like heat, not towel, like an emergency heat blanket, those like tinfoil looking things. You're given one of those, and then you're walking forward, and they give you your medal, and you get your medal, and then there's giving you Powerade, and then they give you a water bottle, and then, oh, here's a banana, and here's a whole snack bag. So it's kind of like boom, 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 boom. Like you're given all these things. Like all of a sudden, you're like, oh my God, I have all these things to hold, and you have like this blanket wrapped around you, and it's again like it's just a very stimulating experience, and I'm so happy I vlogged the whole thing, because looking back on it like all went by in a blink, like I think because it was such a new experience, you're on like this runner's high, it all just happened so fast, and all of a sudden we're done. And what was crazy to me is that as soon as people cross the finish line, you're given all your goodies, your medals, people just sit on the ground and they just start eating their snacks, which is awesome. But for me, I've always been like, wait, don't we need to like, walk and get our heart rate down? Like, aren't you never supposed to just like, if you're running, just stop and sit down? Like, I think that's pretty bad for your heart. So I was like, okay, like kind of still like trying to like, walk and bring my heart rate down. And no one was stretching, which I also thought was really weird, because I was like, I need to stretch, because that's what I do. Every time I run, then I walk to slow down my heart rate, and then I immediately stretch. So that was a little interesting to me. I just thought like I would see a lot more people stretching afterwards, but no, literally everyone just sat on the ground, and we were all eating our snacks. And they give you, like I said, they give you a banana in this snack box, which it made me laugh at the stuff they give you. They gave you chips and queso, like cheese, and they gave you fruit snacks and candy, and I was like, is this the best thing I should be eating right now? But I think I had the banana, and I had some chips, and they gave you like this, like those like little energy, like little waffles, which were, oh my gosh, so good. I drank the Powerade for electrolytes, drank the water. But yeah, we just kind of sat there, and they had again, that stage was still going. There was music playing. Oh my God, we saw someone get proposed to. They went up on stage, and the guy proposed to his girlfriend right after she ran the race, which was so cool. And I almost started crying because they were playing High School by Taylor Swift, and I was like, oh my God, this is so magical. But they had food trucks out there. Like, it was a party. I saw people with champagne glasses. It was a whole thing. Again, very, very stimulating experience. Taylor was feeling a slight headache when we finished the race, so we did go to the medical tent to get her some ibuprofen. So again, if you at all experience like any kind of, you need medical assistance, they will have that throughout the race. Oh, I forgot to say this. They have medical stops throughout the race and also water stops. So don't feel like you need to bring your water bottle with you. They will be passing out water cups to you as you run. I only had like a couple waters while I was running. I was feeling good. I didn't need to stop for any medical things, but it's awesome that they have that for people who need more water or need any medical attention. But yeah, that was the end of the race. And you know what was like the wildest thing is I just wanted to double check my timestamps. So like I said, we got there at 3:45 a.m. We didn't start running until 5:40 a.m. And I have a picture of me with my race medal at 7:45 a.m. And it had felt like we lived a whole freaking day, but it was only 7:45 in the morning. Like, people weren't even awake yet in the rest of the world. You know, like, people were still sleeping in, yet I just ran a 10K. I'm pretty sure I took a selfie and texted my family, and I was like, I just ran 6.2 miles before any of you guys woke up. It was like my brag for the day. I was like, look what I did before you even got out of bed this morning. Like, it seriously felt like we lived an entire day, and it was only like 8 a.m. So wild. And you could have definitely hung out after the race and had, again, they had food, they had drinks, there was a whole party vibe going. But we decided to go back to our hotel because, again, Taylor was feeling a little like she was getting a headache. So we wanted to go back, shower, change, because we were going to go to Epcot that day. So we wanted to go shower, take a little nap, and just rest up before we went to Epcot. But I do want to share one of my favorite moments of the entire race, and that was as we were leaving. We hear like the announcers go, okay, and here's our last princess ready to cross the finish line. And I turned and I saw this woman who was basically like a grandma, was running this race. And she was actually running, she was the last person to finish. And I always forget her name. It was either Debbie or Becky. I think it was Debbie. And they were calling her out, and they were just like saying the most uplifting things. And I just started bawling my eyes out because it was in that moment. I'm getting choked up again. It was in that moment I realized how amazing, I'm sorry, I was not expecting to get choked up right now. It was in that moment I realized how amazing runDisney is, because it is for anybody of all ages, of all skill levels, whether you need to walk the whole race or whether you want to sprint the whole race. This is an accomplishment that anyone at any age can do. And I just felt so like the Disney magic in that moment. And again, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm getting so choked up, but after that, I was like, I need to do a runDisney race again, because it was the most amazing moment. And I felt so accomplished. I felt so accomplished for everybody who had set this goal and finished the race. And it was just the most magical experience. Next, we're going to talk about tips and tricks. So I went ahead and made a whole list of tips that I think are super helpful to know before your first ever runDisney race. So tip number 1 is to train. Guys, you need to prepare your body for this experience. Whether you're running a 5K or a full marathon, you need to train for this race. So again, if you want to go to the runDisney website, they have a whole training program for you there, but you need to basically practice your race. You can't just show up the day of and expect to, feel well and do well. It's so important to train for these races. Tip number 2 is to really think about what you're going to wear. So when I signed up for this race, I was like, okay, I'm running a race in Florida, which Florida is a very hot state, right? And of course, usually it is very hot, but we were running in February, and especially during the winter months, you never know what the Florida weather is going to be. And honestly, leading up to the trip, it was looking like it was going to be really warm. And then all of a sudden this cold front came in, and that's why I ordered that long sleeve last minute, because originally I was going to wear a tank top and shorts. Thank God I didn't. But even that long sleeve was not enough for that chilly morning. So what I wish I would have done is gotten one of those emergency tinfoil looking blankets that they gave to us after the race. I wish I would have had one of those before the race. And there was so many people who had run the 5K the day before, that brought those blankets with them to wear, and I was so freaking jealous of them. I was like, oh my gosh, I would literally do anything for one of those like little emergency blankets. So if you are running during the winter months and you're thinking it could be cold, I would buy just like a pack of those on Amazon just to wear before your race. And then right when we were about to start running, they told us, you know, if you have one of those blankets on, you need to throw it away, and they had trash bins. So that's what people were doing. And I was like, I just wish I would have purchased one of those or got something to wear and then just like thrown it away like before the race. I would definitely suggest, again, those like emergency blankets, because those are disposable anyway, and you can just throw it away afterwards. Because once we started running, I was very comfortable in what I had on, but leading up to it, I was absolutely freezing. So I definitely would suggest that. And then I did want to talk about my running shoes. So I ran in my Hokas. I got these and I trained in these. These are the shoes that I trained in, and I really, really love these Hokas. Now, I'm not saying Hokas are for everybody, but I would say they are a very good running shoe. But whatever shoe you're gonna run in, obviously train in it so that way you know how they feel on you, because I got these months in advance just in case I didn't like them and I needed to switch to something else, but I absolutely love them. I still run in them today. Tip number 3 is to have a dress rehearsal. And you're probably looking at the screen being like, Erica, what the heck are you talking about? I'm talking about running in your runDisney outfit, wearing your hair how you plan to wear your hair, and wearing your shoes, and practice running in that whole ensemble at home before you actually show up to the race. And I say this because, you may like try something on at home, whether it's like these new shorts you got or new shoes, or maybe you're like, ooh, I want to do this with my hair. And I don't want you to show up to the race that day and you're starting to run and you're like, oh my gosh, these shorts are uncomfortable, these shoes hurt my feet, or my hair is just falling down and it's driving me crazy. So whatever you're planning on wearing that day to the race, because people do really put a lot of thought and effort into their outfits, whatever you're thinking of running in, practice running in it and make sure you're comfortable, because that is key number 1. Like, make sure whatever you're wearing, shoes, outfit, how you like pull your hair up, make sure you're comfortable in it to run however long you're going to run. So I definitely recommend doing a dress rehearsal. I did that. I wore my shorts, my tank, my long sleeve, the shoes. I did the hair how I thought I was going to do it, just to make sure that nothing was annoying me, nothing was uncomfortable. And let's do a quick pause and talk about runDisney outfits, because people really do go all out. I saw people in literally costumes, like actually like almost like a Halloween costume of like a Disney princess, or I think I saw a guy like dressed like not Moana, just like Maui. Like, people go all out for their outfits, which I think is so cool. But again, do what you're most comfortable in, because I know I would not be comfortable running in a costume. Walking, yes. So if you're gonna walk the race, maybe that's what you're comfortable in. But I knew I needed to wear like athletic clothes, and people do all different kinds of themes. We kind of did like Disney princess bound, so I had like blue shorts, this snowflake necklace for kind of Elsa vibes. I did like a braid in my hair. Taylor was kind of like Belle, and she had this blue bow in her hair. Ellie was Rapunzel, and she put some flowers in a braid. So it like, have fun with it, but of course, definitely be comfortable in whatever you're going to run in, and that's again why I recommend doing a little dress rehearsal. Tip number 4 is to really prepare yourself for your sleep schedule so you can make sure you get at least some sleep the night before. So again, the day before our race, we woke up at 6 a.m. so that way we were a little bit more tired that night. We went to bed around 8:30 p.m., woke up at 2:30 a.m. and again, I think at least I hit a REM cycle, so I got some sleep. And when we did finish our race, we came back and took a nap before we went to Epcot. So I did feel pretty good sleep-wise. I was really nervous about that. And I'm someone who doesn't wake up too early in like my regular schedule. I usually wake up around 8 a.m. So maybe you need to think about waking up, a little bit earlier leading up to the race. But for us, I think it was perfectly fine to wake up early the day before, go to sleep early that night, and then just wake up. You're going to be on adrenaline and you're going to be on a rush anyway, so you're going to feel pretty awake, but it's still really important to at least catch some sleep the night before your race. Next tip is to think about hydrating your body and also fueling your body. And this is going to be very different for each person. So you really need to think about what you need to do to fuel your body before your race. So for me personally, when I usually run at home, it's usually later in the afternoon. I'm not like usually a wake up and run before I get my day started person. So I usually already have some food in my body. I'm usually already kind of hydrated. So for this race, knowing I was going to wake up at freaking 2:30 in the morning, we had a pretty good dinner the night before at our resort. I had chicken tenders and mac and cheese, and I had a pretty hearty meal. And then I woke up the next morning. I also hydrated a lot Friday. I woke up Saturday morning. I had a banana, and then I drank a little bit of a Celsius just for like energy. But that was all I had, and that was fine for me, and that I think was good. I needed to have something in my system. I didn't want to have a full meal, so I thought the banana was good. And the Celsius I usually drink before I run. That's kind of like my routine. So I didn't have a full one. I just drank like a little bit of one. And I felt very good. Now, I know some people who are like, I can't eat anything before I run, otherwise I'll get a cramp. So that's just something I want you to keep in mind as you're training for your race. Really figure out what is enough to fuel your body. What do you need to do to hydrate your body? Because that is very, very important. Again, the banana was perfect for me that early in the morning to give me at least something, but nothing, too heavy before I ran. My next tip is to figure out which corral is best for you. Now, I am very happy that I did run in Corral F for my first runDisney race, which is like one of the last corrals, just because I wasn't sure what this experience was going to be like. I did not want to like bite off more than I could chew, basically. So again, I think I did put my run time as like an 11, 12-minute mile. But looking back on the race, I think I could have went in a little bit faster group. Like, I felt like the people I was running alongside, I could have been running a little bit faster, but I wanted to be, keep a safe distance and be safe around everyone else I was running with. But I think I was going slower than what I could have gone. So I think the next time around, when I would go to register, I would put a higher mile time to hopefully get in a higher corral. Not like A or B, like that would be too much for me, but maybe somewhere in the middle would be where I'd be most comfortable, because I did want to, there was moments where I wanted to like go faster, but I just couldn't with how many people were around me. So again, if it's your first race, I would always, err on the side of caution and go, a little bit less than what you think you could do. But now moving forward, I think I'm ready to go maybe up a corral or two, just knowing my body and my pace now. And oh my goodness, speaking of corrals, I have not talked about the balloon ladies. So the balloon ladies, you have to know who the balloon ladies are before you run a runDisney race. And the balloon ladies are literally these ladies that have balloons, and they are at the very, very back of the race. So their job is to walk, I think it's a 16-minute mile. If that's not correct, I'll put the correct mile time down here. But they are to walk, it's either a 16 or 18-minute mile. And if they pass you, unfortunately, you will be removed from the race. So basically, the balloon ladies are to make sure that everyone completes the race and that everything keeps like moving along, basically. They don't want people still running the race at like 5 o'clock at night that night. Like, everyone needs to finish the race at a certain time. So you want to stay as far away from the balloon ladies as possible. And that was a huge fear for us. But I never saw them once. Even though we were like way back in the corrals, I never saw the balloon ladies. So that wasn't a problem for us, but that was a fear going into it. I was like, oh my gosh, like what if it's called getting swept by the balloon ladies. And again, if they pass you, that means that you're not going fast enough, and you're unfortunately going to have to be removed from the race, which is a huge bummer. But I think it's pretty rare instance if that were to happen. So I wouldn't be too concerned with that. Like that was a big fear going into it, but looking back on it, it's not as big a deal as I thought it was going to be. Just again, as long as you keep, walking or running faster than they're going, you're going to be just fine. But that was a huge fear for us. So that's why we're like, oh my gosh, especially since we were in the back of the corrals, we were like, the balloon ladies could catch us, but we never did see them. We were totally fine. And my final tip is hands down my most important tip. If there's one thing you take away from this video, I want it to be this. You can do this. I promise you, you can complete a runDisney race. I saw people of all ages, all skill levels, either walking the whole thing or running and walking it or running the whole thing, and they all completed the race. And I know that you can do it. If you put your mind to it and you train for it, you can complete a runDisney race. So I don't want you to have any fear going into this. I want you to know that you can do this. And I'm telling you, the feeling when I crossed that finish line was the most rewarding feeling I've ever felt. Like, it has been a long time since I felt so proud of myself, because it was all me that did it. Like, my mind and my body got me there, and it was just the most powerful, uplifting experience, and I want you to experience it too. So I don't want you to have any fear going into it. Just know if you put your mind to it and you train for it, you can do this. So you probably know this answer by now, but one of you guys did ask on my Instagram Q&A, am I gonna do more Run Disney races? Heck yes. Absolutely yes. I am so hooked. Honestly, as soon as we crossed that finish line, we were like, can we sign up for the half marathon tomorrow? Because it was just the most like uplifting, rewarding experience of my life, and I am hooked. Like, I want to continue doing Run Disney races, so there will definitely be more Run Disney vlogs coming your way on my channel, and I'm so excited to keep, pushing my body, seeing what I can do, and keep like experiencing that feeling of like accomplishment, because it's incredible. Like, I'm telling you guys, completing a race is such a good feeling. So yes, I will definitely be doing more Run Disney races in the future. Well guys, that's what it's really like to run a race at Walt Disney World. I hope you found this video helpful. I knew as soon as I ran my first race, I was like, I want to make like a video like this for you guys, because I know I was looking for this type of video before my race, just to know like what to expect, what to look forward to, what to like, mistakes to avoid and things like that. So I hope I helped answer some of the questions you have, and if there's any questions that you still have that maybe I didn't cover, please drop it down in the comments and I will definitely be sure to answer them. But if you're preparing for your first Run Disney race, I am so excited for you. It is going to be the most epic experience of your life, and I can't wait for you, and it's just going to be the most amazing experience. Let me know down in the comments what race you're running. I'm just so excited for you. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming adventures, and I will see you guys very soon in the next video.